Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Crystallize stream here. I'm Brendan, one of the developers here on the developer experience team, and today I'm joined by Sebastian, who is our CTO, and also our team lead here on the developer experience team as well. How are you doing,
Hello,
Sebastian?
hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream.
Yeah, so today, this is our continuation of a stream that we've been running for a few weeks now on how to build a customer e-commerce storefront from scratch. The first part that we did was with Sebastian as well. It was a very technical in terms of the code stream. And then the past few streams that we've had have been more on a conceptual level. So now we're going back to the more technical side again, the more hands-on coding side, where we're continuing building our e-commerce bookstore here. Sebastian, would you like to give us a little bit of a refresher on what we've
Exactly.
got so far? And yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. So last time with Diedrich, you did some styling. But what did we style? So first we have the tenant in Crystallize, and we are actually playing with a set of shapes that are books, author and contributor and series, but we're going to focus on the product only today, which are the books. So we have a list of books inside the folder, Fantasy, and the books have different variants. And this is actually what buyers are actually buying, a variation of a book. So in Crystallize, it's called product variant. So this is what you have in terms of data. This is the tenant. And in terms of code, and so we're going to look at the code right after. I'm just running the project. So in terms of project, this is a very simple project so far. We are complexifying and making it a real web shop. But we have the header, we have the footer, we are listing everything on the home page. So you can directly go to a book, or you can go through Fantasy, and then you can, of course, also go in a book. And what we plan to do today is to see how we can manage the variant selection, because of course we can keep it that way, but sometimes it's a bit better if you want to display stuff like that. So let me show you an example. You might have different attributes. We're going to see that. For now, we're going to use only one level, but see, this is what we are going to achieve. We're going to display the product storytelling on the left and the variant selection on the right. Something similar to that with only one level. Maybe if we have time, we'll do, maybe we will add the language as an attribute. But yeah, this is what we're going to achieve today, fetching those information, rendering the price, and preparing the button for next time. We are not going to do any styling. This is just coding, fetching information from Crystallize, and yeah, playing with JavaScript and Node and everything to do that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good set of things for us to do today. What do you think is the first step that we should do here?
So looking at the code to refresh our mind as well, because it's a live stream. We are doing it really live. So let's have a look at what has been done last time. So this is a Remix app, but it doesn't really matter, right? It's React. So we have some assets, we have some components. So far, it's really, really simple. We have the layout where we inject the children. So the layout is the header and the footer, right? When we have the navigation and the footer here with the logo. So this is it. And then we have 3 pages: the home page, fetching the navigation mainly and listing that right away. This is what you've seen here. So this is this page. We have the category page, which is actually the books/fantasy. This is where we are listing the different product on a specific category. So this is this page. So fetching the data and rendering that data. To render that data, we have a component, book tile, which is there, book tile. And then we have the product page, the one we are going to play with. So I think at the first step, we're going to revamp a little bit some stuff. First, I would love to have book tile to be named book tile. Then we're going to change Oh, thanks. Thanks, my ID. It's done for me. So, and then I think one of the best practice is to decouple a little bit the rendering with the fetching. So what do you think, Brendan? We can probably extract the function that are actually fetching the data somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, we can put that in, move the loader elsewhere.
Yeah, we're going to keep the loader because it's remix and framework specific, but we're going to get the fetch category and the fetch fetch product in another function somewhere else, just to organize the code. So I like to do that with use cases. I mean, it's just my way of doing it. It's kind of DDD kind of things. And this is something where I would split that into parts. The call that we do to Crystallize, and later we'll see we're going to have some calls to the service API, and you can have call to something else, right? So here I'm organizing this way the use case where we call Crystallize, and the first use case that we have is we want to fetch the category, right?
And we do this. We have this sort of structure a bit with some of our other repositories in the developer experience team, at least. Some of our open source projects that you can contribute to, you might see the same sort of structure where we have these use cases split out so that we can just be very clear about what we want to do, what it's targeting, and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. So here we are just going to create a very simple function, and we're just going to fetch and copy paste what we've done before. So this is the category page. We just want the data. So that would just be it. I'll get this, put it there. So we're not changing anything, just importing everything. The param will be actually here would be the pass, that would be an argument. So we want to fetch, no, that would be that. So just nothing crazy here. We're just moving this into a function that we can call, and the argument is the path. So if I go back to the category page, I can now just pass, remove that, and just fetch my function. So that would be const, we could do categories equals a weight of the fetch category, and I need to provide the pass. So this is this is just it, and then I can do this. And if I do this, of course, I need to change the return of that one to actually do it correctly. So it's data.category. So return data.category. That's it. Let's have a look if we didn't break anything on the page. Okay. All good so far, Brendan?
Yeah. Looks good to me.
I'm being quick here because it is good to see that it's good to organize. The controller, we can call that controller, I believe, should be as dumb as possible, because this is framework specific. If tomorrow you want to move to another framework, probably the fetch categories from Crystallize will remain exactly the same, but the way you render, the way you fetch the data, and if you want to test that, if you want to mock this, so just a way to organize your code, right? So I'm going to do it the same here.
The only question I have here is back in the other file that we were just in. We've got the categories that we are fetching, but then we when we're returning the JSON, we're assigning that to another variable just called singular category instead of categories.
Here?
Would it be better to have them both as categories just for consistency?
Of course. Of course.
Or singular if it's just one.
Oh no, it's my mistake. It is one category. It's a very good point. We are not fetching many categories here. We are fetching one category in which we have books. So now it's much better. Yeah. Oh, good. And now I just did this and change this. Sorry about that. Good. So now we need to fetch one product. So we're going to apply the same logic. New file, fetch product, .ts, and same stuff, export default async. This is the function, which see what argument we need. Same logic here. So we need the pass to fetch from Crystallize that we do. We do that in the controller, kind of in the loader. Fetch product, boom. We need the client, and you can see that at some point we might want to extract the client as well, because we are doing that all the time. But that could be done later. I don't want time on this.
Yeah.
So product, and then we need to return. So this is the pass that we're going to get in argument. So we can just do that, and then we can return data. No, it's actually here. I don't know why we didn't prefix. Usually, even when we do the GraphQL, you can make that a little bit more semantic. Actually, here it could even be fetch book. Actually, but in a generic way, fetch product. Why not? So we're going to prefix this in here. Then we can do data.product, and we need a path string, and that pretty much here. This would be data. So we get the data, we return data.product, and from here we do const product equals the weight of fetch product, and the path is the Crystallize path. And here we can actually do that, and we can do the same here, right?
Yeah. Did that
just
undo, or?
No, I did. I just did the function earlier. Yeah, so that's Then I don't need this anymore. So the fantasy page. Okay, here we go. So now it feels better already. And now we're going to do. I'm not going to do some kind of styling, right? But probably we want the product storytelling on the left and the variant stuff on the right?
Yeah. Similar to what we have for that other furniture demo.
So I think we can use, so we are using that. You can help me, but I'm going to do that. It's a grid, right? It's a grid of 2 columns. The first column will be, first column will just be the title.
Yep.
Already. That's fine. Then we want probably this, and so we have that on the left, and what do we want on the right? It's probably another, for now, let's do that, would be another grid. Here we go. So we have the title. On the left, we have the description.
Yeah.
And of course, I need to wrap that into div. So this is what we want on the left. And I was actually wrong. That's it. So we have the main div. And actually, I don't need that either. This is the main div. We want this on the left, this on the right, and we are missing the closing div.
Closing one. Yeah.
It.
Nice.
Okay. Whew. Good. So then we want to do a variant selector, right? So technically, it means that when you are going to load the page, we don't want to see all the variants, right? We just want to see one. The question is, which one do we want to see? So it could be it could be in the code that we fetch the first one. It's actually good to mention that in Crystallize, you have this concept of default variant that you can set here, set as default variant. So you can change the default variant, and this one is the default one. Okay, so I think we should rely on that to display by default on the product page the default variant. So we're going to have a look at the GraphQL query. So that is when it's usually interesting to get that query and to have a look at the result from the PIM API directly. So if I do API, catalog, and I want to actually request this catalog, I can do that. And then I can copy paste my query to see what's going on. So this is what we get. And of course, I need to provide the path in here. So what do we get? The path is actually the path of the book, which is okay. So of course, we get the product, we get the name, we get the title, we get the summary. Fine.
Would you mind just zooming in on that a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. Good. So we have the name, the title, the summary, and then the interesting part for us right now are the variants. So if we look, if we unfold all that stuff, you can see that, of course, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 variants, which makes sense because we have 4 variants here, right? And in each variant, what did we ask? So for each variant, we ask for the name, the SKU, the different stock locations, the image, the price variant. So see, we don't have the information to know if it's the default variant or not. So this is something you need to know, right? Or you can inspect the documentation. And here you go there, this implement a product. So you can look at what you have in product, variant, which is product variant. And we can look, and here you're going to see that you have is default. So you can just request for that to know if it's a default variant. So when you do that, boom, you can get, of course, the same result, but for each variant, you know if it's a default or not. So we're going to use that to display only one variant. Okay, so I'm going to update the fetch product, and on a variant, I'm going to ask for is default. Good. We have that information. Now we can use it in here. So first, also, what we want is to display a variant. So I propose that we create a variant component.
Yeah.
Right, where we will display one variant. So let's make it there. Let's do new file. This will be, and let's name it correctly, product variant.tsx. This is just a component. I'm going to copy paste here. So we're going to call it product variant, and it will receive, of course, the variant. So for now, we are not doing. We will probably do a session with TypeScript to actually discuss a little bit more why it's not that good to use any and how we can type all that stuff. We're not going to do that now, but this is probably a session that we were going to have in the future.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I think any just allows us to get this demo up as fast as possible without worrying about or bloating the code with types that'll just add in more space.
And the good way to do it, and this is probably what we would do, is in the middle, in this fetch category, here you get some kind of data mapper. You will use the DTO to convert what you get from the API and what you need in your code. That will be the good place here to have some kind of data mapper or data transformer or whatnot, or the way you want to do. So we have the product variant, and what do we need? It's going to be probably, so that's not going to be fancy, but we need the name of the variant that we have in the query. We can double check. We have the name, the SKU. Let's start with that. So, and actually I can copy paste of here. So for each variant, we are doing this. So for now, we are just going to do exactly the same. So I'm going to return that. The key would be passed. Variant name, stock, price. We're going to discuss that right now. It's simple. We take the first one. Then we display the image, and we want the image component that paste.
I think you want parentheses around the return as well, right? The
not necessarily
around the div. No,
that's actually something that I don't know why a lot of people are doing this indeed. Parentheses like that. Yeah, I think it's because you can do that without the return. Yeah,
true. Yeah,
that would be the same. I really like this. I prefer this way, but that's just me, right?
Fair enough.
So now we have the product variant, and we can use the component product variant in the product page, right? So here we can just do return, and this is where it could be fancy. Do product variant, then we need a key, right? And we will probably going to have to provide some data as well. So the key is actually the SKU. I think it's a good key because it's unique. And then we actually want to pass the variant. And then we're going to do this. And for each product variant, we return the variant. That's it. All that stuff I can remove. All right. Then I just, of course, need to close tag, and it has been imported automatically. So we're good. We don't need image anymore in here. So that should load and have a look there. We have the variant to receive the variant. That should be perfect. Let's have a look. Okay, good. We didn't change anything. Everything's working. So now what we can do is to only display the default one. So we have many ways of doing this. We know by advance that we want to do variant selector, right? So we could indeed here just loop and display the default one. This is not what we want to use. We want some kind of state, right? So I don't know what you think, Brendan, but I think we can use state for now and have a state which would be the selected variant.
Yeah, useState seems like the most simple one without introducing a whole lot of other files for like a reducer or things like that. So
do a reducer, yeah. Let's do that. And we don't want, so that could be a good fallback. So we could do that and see, but then we're going to use default. We're going to use is default. So selected variant, and now we just want to display only one variant. So that would be just variant. We don't need the key anymore. We're going to keep that for now. That should be enough. Here we go. We have only the default one. Nice.
Nice.
We want the we have the first one. Now we want the default one. So we have the product. So now we need to actually get the default one. So we can do a function, probably. We can put that function here. We can do probably like get default. We can do get primary, better name, get primary variant, the one that we are going to select first, depending on some context. And to get the primary variant, so see, this is GitHub Copilot, kind of cool, but it was not smart enough. For us, it is default.
If we had named it get default variant, then it would have probably worked.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think do we need a function? We don't necessarily need a function, right? We can do primary variant equal to this. And we're going to fall back. If this is null, then we're going to fall back on the first variant. That's why I didn't name it default, because it's not necessarily the default. In a Crystallize world, it could be the first one. Okay, makes sense. And then in my state, that would be the primary. Okay, we can even be better. We could put all that stuff in new states. I don't know. What do you think? Should we do that? Is it a good practice?
I mean, I think it was fine as it was, to be honest. But
probably better. Okay, let's do that. So nothing changed. Nothing changed. Good. But now we want some kind of selector, right? We want to be able probably to provide a select or a way to click. So we go to another variant. So this is where it could be interesting to go back to the content model and see what is different in those variants. And here, what is different is actually the type. We have different types: paperback, hardcover, ebook, or audiobook. So that could be the selector. So I propose that we do a select for now, and based on what we pick in the select, we change the default variant.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Makes sense to me.
So we need a select that is going to loop, and the value of the select will be actually the types here. So we need the types. So let's have a look at our query again and see what we get. So the name, the SKU, stock location, image, price variant. And we actually don't have the types. And in Crystallize, the types are actually, could be anything, right? It could be anything, could be color, could be size, could be anything. So the name, the generic name for that is attribute, product variant attributes, and those are key values things. So attribute names, which is name attribute, and value. So we need that. So let's fetch that. So just write underneath is default. I'm going to get attribute, and value. Run that query and see. So now we have type paperback. And then if I go to the other variant, we have hardcover. So now we can loop over that, make it an array, and then build a select.
Yeah. Right. So we have to go through each variant, and then the attributes of the variant are an array as well. So we have to go through the array of attributes, find the one that is the type, and then add it to the select.
Yeah. So there's many ways of doing this, more fancy than others. I propose that we what we want at the end, we want key value, right? Attribute name and value. This is what we want. So we probably can use a reducer function to build that on the fly. So memo. So memo is actually the result. So this is what TypeScript can become nice. So what do we want? Key value, probably string. Boom. So this is going to be the result. We're going to get the variant as an argument. Then
would it be string though? Like if we already know that we are getting the types, for example, wouldn't it be like we're getting an array of types and then an array of, if we had other attributes, an array of colors as well? So it'd be like a record string, comma, string array? Or am I thinking about this the wrong way?
Oh, yeah, no, we can do, it would be a string array, yes. Types and other types, yeah. So here the result of what I want is something like that. Const, that would be the result if we do it statically, that would be something like we want types and then all the types. Then later, if we have colors, would be that, size would be this. What do you think?
Yeah, makes sense. Then we can have different selects or whatever other components we want for these separate attributes.
Yeah. Well, those are implementation choice, right? I mean, but yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Yep.
So key, we have a key and we have an array of string. And we have a variant. We start with nothing, and we're going to loop in each variant. And then what we can do for each variant to get the attributes, right? And for each key in each of these attributes, whether it exists or not, we can just do memo of key. Oh yeah, we need to create the array though. So if it doesn't exist, we're going to create as an empty array.
Yeah.
And then, if this is awesome, I like GitHub Copilot. If it seems like it's too beautiful to be true, but it is. So if it doesn't, so then we don't have to do the unique stuff at the end. We can check if we have that attribute, because you can have different variants with the same attribute, right? You can have two t-shirts red, but they have a different size. So this is actually what we are managing here. So we push the attribute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the value, of course. I mean, to make it even clearer, we could do that. Value. I think it would simplify the reading. So if the value is not in the array already, then I'm pushing the value. Cool. And then I return the memo. And what they do? Something is odd here. Oh yeah, 4. That's it, right? And I return that. Of course not.
Afterwards. Yeah.
So that should be fine. Let's see first if we are good before to continue. First, back.
Did we edit the GraphQL query in the code?
No, we did not. So indeed, it's not magic. Yet. We have to reproduce that in the code. Okay. And with that, and then we have our attribute types. Oh, I am not console. Yeah, I want to. Ooh, what's going on? Attributes. Is it working? No, it's not. I mean, we have the attributes, but not the good version of it. And I think it's because of the mean here. What I can do. So let's do attribute map. I think it's just this. Maybe not.
No.
So it has to be nothing. We are looping into each attribute. For each key, we're getting the value. If in the memo it doesn't exist, then we do an empty array of that key. And if it does not exist, we are pushing the value. Something is weird. Okay, let's debug this. This is what we are doing. This is live coding. Correct, right?
Look wrong. Yeah.
So let's have a look. Console.log of this is just the attribute of the variant. So this one is type. Oh, but attributes is an array. It's not a key value here. Attributes. It's
right.
That's the thing. We need to loop into. So it's actually this.
Could just change it into of, yeah.
So that would be attributes of variant attributes, right? Something like that. Be true.
Yeah.
Then we have dot key dot attribute that would be attribute object attribute dot attribute. Okay, that would be just the key, let's say, and that would be the value.
Yeah.
Now we have types of paperback, hardcover, ebook, audiobook. Much better. And what we can do is put that in lowercase, just for us in the future to lower case. Is it not a function? It is, right?
Yep, that's right.
And this is just to normalize here because this is a key, so we want probably to normalize that key. So boom, we have the type. So now we can display the select. All that's just to display select. And we can put the select right underneath this. What do you think? Here on the right?
Yeah, just somewhere over there.
That.
I guess, like in a real world robust scenario, you'd probably want to maybe change the attribute key text as well to be more normalized, not just lowercase, but perhaps removing like special characters and things like that as well. Not relevant to this small demo, but just in a more robust setting.
And that's a good point also, because and also in Crystallize, this is actually completely up to you. You decide of the naming that you want here per product. So yes, a normalization things could be useful here, definitely.
Yep.
Yep. So we are going to loop over the. So for now, we just want one level. We know what we want, so we are going to just display the select of the types. We can do something else later. So we're going to map. We have the type, and then we are just going to return an option of key types, value types, option, boom, boom, boom. That's it. Empty. Attributes. Oh, it was type. That's where TypeScript will be nice. Now we have the select. Cool. So now the thing is, when we change that select, we want to change the variant, right? So but this is just kind of React stuff, right? So what we're going to do is on change. Yeah, we can do that, or we can. How would you do that? Because if we do on change, we are just going to get access to the value.
Yeah, so we would get the key, but then we would have to find the variant that matches this key, and then set the state.
But that's the most straightforward way to do that. You can also use a component, which is a fancy select online, where you can actually get the object that you provide here. Because what we would like is to get the variant, but we cannot really do that, right? So do we do it with this? Oh, see, this is insane. It's done for me. It's like Copilot is actually listening. So this is exactly what we want. So we have an event, we get the value, which is going to be the type. Then we need to find the good variant from the list of the variant, and we are going to pick the first variant that is matching this attribute. And
the only difference is that little bit of extra code at the bottom that it's
put in. Cool, yeah. And then we call the set variant, the set selected variant, to change the variant. And thank you, React and new states. This is going to reload the component and display everything that should be displayed. Boom. That's
nice.
It. Do we have the same cover for? It seems like we have the same cover for the two last.
Yeah, for the audiobook and the ebook, they were the same.
And see, you have the price change as well. So good. We have the variant selector stuff. Right. Here we want also, we wanted to have the, so can we do it a little bit better? I want the HR to be at, because it's a grid, so I need to wrap that. Sorry, Diedrich, you're gonna have to do a lot of change here, but that's much better. Yeah, not fancy, but better. So that's good. What we can do now is to have a look at the component here for the pricing. It has been done already, so we can have a look and reuse that maybe.
True.
So let's have a look at the book tile and how it has been done. So see, this is another concept. How are we in terms of time? Yeah, I think
we're currently at 40 minutes, so we've got about, I'd say 20 minutes more.
Right. We can do the price. We can do the price stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, just one thing I noticed in this tile is that they have used just a generic $sign when the currency of the tenant is euros. At least.
Oh, so we're going to fix
on
this?
On the other page, it showed euros at least. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good catch. So we're going to fix that as well. Indeed. So usually in a commerce project like that, you have a context, right? And this is actually not simple at all. If you want, so this is interesting to discuss that as well. If you want to see the big picture, you have the language, right? I mean, what do we have in the context of an e-commerce project? You have probably the language, which is probably in the URL because you want Google to find the product page in the specific language. You want the canonical and the hreflang. So you have the first part of the context is the language on which you should fetch the data. This is one context, right? You might want also to have a different store based on the country. You can have products that are not be able to be sent or sold in a country or in another country, and the price can change based on the country as well, right? So this is another part of the context. It's country. Then the third part is actually the currency that you are using. Maybe your shop is multi-currency, or maybe the currency depends on the country, but you have different countries who have the same currency. So it's a third object that you have. So it's actually a lot of context that you need to have, right? What else?
Exactly.
What do we have? That's pretty much it. We can have the local as well, but I think the local could be a combination between country and language.
Yeah.
And here, everything is hard-coded so far in English, and every request that we've done, it's defaulted to English. But for the currency, this is actually interesting to show how it's done in Crystallize. You have settings. I can leave that. And you have in the settings a price variant here. So this is how we manage multi-currency in Crystallize. In here, we have two price variants. So each product variant can have different prices, of course. This is how you would manage a different currency. You can have another default for USD, another default for NOK, whatever. And then here we've decided, and we're going to use that to show the discounted price. We have another price, which is sales in the same currency, of course. And thanks to those two prices, we can actually display the discount price. And we can do much, much more, of course, thanks to the price list system. This is not the topic, but if you want to do discounts on a bigger scale, I would say you have a concept of markets, and you have actually this concept of price list, which is much more complex, but it's really powerful. So that being said, come back to to what we're doing. For now, what we're doing is displaying the price. And if we have a discount price, we want to do this drop price this way. And we want to display the good currency. So I think this is a good candidate for a component. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Something that can take in a price or prices, both the default and discount price, perhaps.
Maybe directly the variant and some context.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you.
Maybe this component can actually get the variant itself.
Yeah,
and
true.
Context.
Yeah.
So let's do this price component. Price, and let's say we're going to get a variant. Let's see. I mean, of course, we thought about it a little bit, but we might change our mind. So can I just do this? So let's have a look at the category, book tile. How do we display the price for now? So this is probably this div, right? This is we're looking at the sales price. So let's extract that first. So copy paste in the price here. So default variant. Okay, so here actually this is not needed, this is not needed, this, and this. This is enough. Going back to the category page, we can replace that by our new price component. Good. And write the variant. Cool. Nice. This is good. And then we can do exactly the same in the product variant that we just built together. And that would be there, right?
Yeah.
So that would be X and equals variant actually. And that. Then we are reintroducing the bug of the currency right now, but just for the sake of the demo, we have this. At least it's consistent. Ooh. 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 Oh yeah, I know. It's just because the data, the data in the database are not completely all valid for each product. That's
Oh,
the trick.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't have any attributes, right?
Yeah. So the orbit is the use case here. So it's still good. I'm going to display the price. This is a good error. So cannot read property and nothing by reading price. Because probably, of course, this is not magical. Probably in the fetch product query, we didn't get the price, and we are going to check this. So this is the fetch category. See on each for the default variant, which is displayed in here. This is the power as well. This is how you do kind of performance website. You only fetch what you need when you need it. So they needed the price here, so they fetched the price. But on the product page for now, we were not displaying discounted price, so we didn't ask for it. So now we need to ask for it. So we kind of need this, the sales price and the retail price. This is good name. Let's get that for the product. So we have the price variant actually, which is good. And it might actually be the best way. So I'm just thinking out loud right now. What has been done in this page is we have that. So the responsibility of what to display, it's kind of in the query. We decide to pick that price and to pick that price, and that's it. What if we can do better? What if finally, what if maybe we want just to return all the price variant and we take the decision of what to display in the code? So it's a trade-off, right? Either you do that and you hard code what you need, or you ask the API to return all the price variant and you decide in the code based on the context. Or, of course, you could also provide the context to the query so you fetch exactly what you want. I think we're going to follow that one because it's probably the most performant way to do it right now. But somehow, I feel like sometimes it could be nice to have all the price and then you decide, at least server side.
That's true. But I guess in this case, like we know that these are the only two price variants that we have, and these are the ones, one is the regular price, one is the discount. So in this case in particular, I think this makes sense.
Yeah, let's do that. So default variant. And here for us, it's not the default variant we want. So we're going to replace that price variant. And we're going to ask specifically for the sales price and the retail. Of course, we want the currency.
Yeah.
And now we can go back to this and check sales price. So yeah, I don't like this stuff. We know that it's going to be there, but it's probably safer. And then we have the retail price. And then here we know also that we actually have, I'm going to put the currency at the end for now, but we're going to make it better. Currency, probably there as well. So, it's much slower when GitHub Copilot is not doing it. Okay. Okay, so now it's in Euro. We probably need the code. So I'm not going to do that for now. I'm going to let Didrik do that in terms of styling. But we have this with Euro. This is fine. And if I go to the Hobbit, we have the stroke price as well. That's what's pretty simple.
And if we change the selected variant, the price should change as well, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And see in Crystallize, and maybe if we still have, let's do 1 hour. There is some stuff here. The content modeling of this project, it's what it is. Of course, sometimes you may want to have some product storytelling on the variant itself. I don't know, maybe the description for a specific book might differ depending on the variant itself, right?
Yeah.
There is a way.
And publishing information, perhaps, publishing dates.
Or the edition maybe. Or
Yeah.
So what should we? So this is on the variant. So product storytelling on the variant in Crystallize, it's very similar. You go to the shape. So there is many ways to go to the shape. The simplest is probably my way of doing it is I click here. Whoop, I go to the shape, and here you have the product storytelling on the product level, but we have variants. So you have the variant story. We already have some stuff here I didn't see. So I think we should use them. We should display them on the right here. That would be nice because those are generic information. So let's put that before the image, maybe.
Something. If it's a short thing, like the ISBN, for example, I saw that was a field in there, so we could just place that as one.
We have the physical property. Yeah, so let's do that. So first, we need to adapt the query to fetch that information. So on product, variant, we're going to continue here. What we want now is for each variant, we have components. So as you may see, it's experimental for now, but this is kind of stable. This is really stable. What I didn't tell you, it's if you want to see that, you need to enable that in the settings, labs, and component and variant. This is marked as experimental because we want to provide a product of good quality. It has been battle tested by our team before even to reach this lab feature. So it's kind of safe, still experimental. We have to put that flag there, but you can definitely use it.
Yeah, and we do already have at least one stream on components of variants as well. So if you want to know more in detail about that, you can just go and check out that stream, which will be linked in the description too.
Yeah, perfect. Indeed. So I'm going to get only one specific component here. So I want to get it using the same approach as what we are doing here, right? And I think it was just a title. It was just a single line, the ISBN. Let's go back and check. I don't recall. And do we have data? That's a question. Variant story, ISBN. This is a single text. So we're going to do ISBN 10 and ISBN. And yeah, let's do that for now. But you've seen that, right? Here we can do, whatever we want. So I can publish the change. And this is single line, or is it number? No, this is single line, right?
Yeah,
this is single. So we're good. So this is single line, so I can actually be lazy and copy paste this. So, and I'm going to re-explain just for the one who didn't see the previous live stream on the variant and component, but I want the component name ESBN, and then I need to go there and check. So this is ESBN 10. There's two ways of checking that. You can go to the shape here, and you see the ID, or you can go back to an item, and here on the right, you can do View Component Identifier. And if I scroll, and of course I need to be at the variant level, View Component Identifier, and I can get the identifier here. So I can get that, I can do that, and then I want the content, and I know that it is a single line, and I want the text. That should have worked. Now I have title, content, text, ESBN 10. Boom. And then we're going to put that in the code. Page product. We can put that on the variant here. That's it. And then we can just, display it. So this is the product variant select things. We said that we wanted to put that for the image, write that for the price. Why not? And do something like ESN. And then what it is variant. But now you can check this here, right? Variant dot title, because we aliased it. Yeah. Dot content dot text.
Yeah.
But is it title? Yeah, title is not a good name, right? We want ESBN probably.
Yeah, that's better.
Change the product here. And variant ESBN dot content dot text. This is not enough. So this, remember, defensive programming. This is going to work. Boom, nice. But careful. It might not exist. It might be empty. So here, you probably want to do something like that. Probably something like that. If it exists, then you display it. And if you want to be extra careful, you can also probably do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Extra careful. That's it, and that changed, of course. So this is empty. So actually, you can do probably something even better. Would be something like that. Then remove that because necessarily that would exist. This one and this one disappear. What we didn't do is if you want to reach a specific variant, thanks to the URL, we didn't do that. So we can discuss it really quickly. What if you want to send that link to your friends so they can buy it for you, this specific audiobook? Then you probably want something in the URL. You have two ways of doing that. It could be something like an anchor, and boom, boom, boom. And that should pick the good one. Or it could be a parameter, something like that, like SKU, or something. That's another way of doing it. Or it could be a route, definitely. So you have many ways. I think for now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the anchor stuff. It's probably the simplest to do it very, very quickly. What do you think?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. So what do we need? We need to change a little bit the product page. So here we want to get access to the URL to get the anchor. And if we have the SKU, we're going to change this function. So the primary variant won't be the default or the first one. It will be the one that is matching the actual SKU, right? What do you think? Will be good?
Yeah.
So how do we do that? I am actually going to cheat looking at my other screen because I don't remember the correct way to getting the anchor from the URL. So let me just, So by the way, I'm just looking in one of the boilerplate that we provide online. So pop up. I can show you actually. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is just use location. Very simple. The remix actually provide a way to get the current location. So we just have to do use location and import this. It depends on your framework. What I want is to get the location, and I cannot do window.location because remember remix does that server side as well, and server side window doesn't exist. So
yeah,
use location, and then the primary variant you want that to be a little bit more fancy. So you have 3 levels of fallback, right? First, we can look at if the SKU is matching what we have in the URL. So find if SKU, the variant that SKU equals the location dot hash, and we want to slice one because we don't want the sharp, the sharp symbol. So thank you again, GitHub Copilot, because when I'm going to do SKU here, actually the hash is actually going to be there, and we can debug that if you want. But so first situation, I look in the URL. If there is an SKU that is matching my variant, I will select that one first, otherwise the default, otherwise the first one. Make sense? And that's it. The only thing here, let's see if it's working first. Oh, no, this is not enough. We also need to update the URL when we actually select a variant. That would be nice, right?
Yeah, so change that location.
So when we do that, we actually need to change the URL. And we are client side in here. So we can actually do window.location.hash, and that would be the SKU of the variant. And that's pretty much it. There is one trade-off here. I'm going to explain that, and then we can finish this live stream. So now if I go to audiobook, I have my unique SKU. Now if I do that and I open a new tab, boom, I am on the audiobook directly. So this is working perfectly. The only trade-off that you are doing when you're doing that client side is, well, it's client side. So you don't see it here because it's really, really fast. But server side, this is going to be rendered with the default SKU because this is information that we have only client side. So this is when the system is hydrating the page that is actually switching the SKU. But that's totally fine. Again, it depends on your situation. Server side, you probably want to have the product page only in Google, maybe, but maybe your use case and you want to have the SKU or the SKU in Google. So of course, it always depends on your use case, but I just wanted to mention this. So this is client side. This is one simple way of implementing this.
Yeah, another small issue that we have there is that if you go back to the website view, when we loaded the page, you can see the variant selector has paperback selected, even though it's the audiobook. That is the variant that is showing.
I'm not sure I got that. What do you mean?
So if you refresh the page with this variant selected, so you've got this, yep, so just refresh. Yeah, then this is back to paperback when it should be audiobook, I guess, or
no, it's because yes, that's right, because we forgot to change the select. We need the default value for the select.
Yeah.
We didn't provide that. Yes, indeed. That would be probably just default value here, right?
Yeah, would be default, the SKU.
Default value of selected variant, but SKU. Is it true? Yeah, that's it, right? What do we want? Oh no, it's not SKU, it's the type here. This is the type.
Oh yeah.
And this is the
but then it'll be the attribute.
The attribute. Yeah, we need to fetch it, right? Because we don't have the. We have all the attributes, but we don't have the map for the selected variant.
No. Unless we just got the type from the variant itself.
We can do. I mean, we can do selected variant type, which is actually selected variant attribute find. Then we have got this something similar to this one, right? Here we have the different attributes, right? One attribute, because this is an array of attributes. In this object, we have dot attribute and dot value. So we want to find the type, right? And we want the value. That would be it. And that would be what we want to display here. So you can easily see that now maybe this could be a component of itself, the book. So you extract one more level, the book page, it's a page, and the component product could be a component of its own. Let's see if it's working. Yeah, audiobook.
Nice.
Go back, reload, paperback. Yeah. Yep. That's it. So now the ball is on Didrik's side before we can actually do the one more live stream about how to manage the cart. Oh, we have many sessions to do. So
yeah, it's just another one in this long series of how you'd actually build a real world example of an e-commerce store from scratch, right? So yeah, I think we're slowly covering the building blocks one by one, which is great. So yeah, but yeah, I think this is a great point to end off today. We've covered a lot. We've gone through the variant selector, gone through the creating that price component, also getting some components of variants there as well. So I think this is a great spot to end. So thanks, Sebastian, for joining today. It's been great to have you to walk us through all of this. All of the relevant information, documentation, all that will be linked in the description below. So feel free to go and check out the links that are there as well. And of course, being part of the series, there will be another stream to continue on, probably more than one, to continue on this topic of building an e-commerce store from scratch. So the playlist for this stream will also be in the description as well, that you can go through and find all the videos before this, as well as the streams that come after this as well. So thanks for joining today, and